Hello, and welcome to Legal Growth Partners podcast, where we dive into the strategies, challenges, and success stories shaping the future of law firms. I'm your host, Aaron Fulk, and together with Legal Growth Partners, we'll bring you in-depth conversations with top legal professionals, industry innovators, and firm leaders. Our goal is simple: to share practical insights, innovative strategies, and real-world advice to help your law firm scale, adapt, and thrive. Whether you're navigating growth challenges or looking to boost your business development, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. This week, our guest is Destiny Bounds. Hi, Destiny.
Hello.
Okay, so offline, we just found out we have so much in common, so I'm even more excited for this interview. So let's just jump right into it. How did you get into law, and how did you choose your specialty?
I'm going to try to keep this short because it could get long. Essentially, since I was a little kid, I always just would tell my parents, I want to be an attorney. I want to be a lawyer. I remember writing that my parents still have a little piece of paper from when I was 5 that said Lauyer. Like I spelled a lawyer instead of a W, but with a U. However, then I went through school, got to college, and I'm the first one in my family to even go to undergrad. So like none of my family, they barely, like my dad and mom are great, but barely finished high school. And so I just thought it was too big for my britches. But I ended up working for the government, doing some other things, and it just became apparent that's where I needed to go. My dad was actually wrongfully convicted. And so we were dealing with a bunch of things on that. And his businesses, he's an amazing business owner. If there's anything my dad did amazingly, which is kind of leads into the next story as to what I do. But he was wrongfully convicted and we felt out of control. And so it was like, I need to go to law school. So I applied and thought I'll never get in. And I ended up getting in and going to law school. Thought I would do criminal law. No. That was not in the cards. I did one semester in the public defender's office, and I would carry it home so heavily. Bless those people that can do that. But I would just it would entirely, I'm just I can be a very sympathetic person when it comes to stuff like that. I can't do the empathy part, right? It's like all of it. So I did insurance defense for a while, thinking I'll just learn to be an attorney. But now, after I worked at a big law firm for about 5-6 years, I worked at a place before that. And I remember going into deep depression for a while, not knowing, just not being happy where I was at in life, not understanding why this is the dream of so many attorneys. You're at a big law firm, you can do all these things. And then it hit me. What are the clients that I like so much? And this was around COVID, and a lot of even statistical will show you the amount of female new business owners was spiking. Like all these women were like, I'm tired of this job. Like I can actually work from home. I can do this myself. And so I had several of my friends reaching out and saying, hey, can you help me start my business? Hey, can you help me with this contract? Hey, I'm turning this this side hustle into a business. And around that time, I was like, oh my God, this is what I love to do. I love working with small businesses. So that is actually what I transitioned out of and started my own law firm 3 years ago. And I call myself kind of the small business attorney. I have now built a team where we do basically about everything except complex commercial litigation. So we help with entity formation, contracts, intellectual property, everything from copyrights, patents, trademarks. And we kind of just become outside in-house counsel. We do it in ways of subscriptions and memberships and try to keep it predictable for people. And I love it. All these new businesses, entrepreneurs, they just, they have a lot of innovation, a lot of dreaming, and it's my favorite thing. And it reminds me of my dad. So my dad, that's what he did. I always knew him of owning and selling businesses, and he did an amazing job even up till a couple of years ago where he sold his last business for over 7 figures.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said originally it was women. What is the percentage of your women clients versus your men clients?
It's still very heavily women. I mean, it's in your market, it's how you market yourself, right? You're going to attract the people that are like you. So I have a good majority. I would say probably 65 to 35 probably is women. I have a side consulting company where I wrote a book with a financial planner. And then I also do women's retreats. That is almost it is wholly women entrepreneurs. And it's more of like the business strategies though, because I have a small business consultant certification. And so that's more about like passive income, profit strategies, stuff like that. And then just having fun.
I love that. So what would you say is your biggest like growth story so far?
Definitely in the law firm. And I really thought hard about this because you gave me this question earlier. And I was like, what is my biggest thing? Because there's so many things. Honestly, probably being able to build a team. That when I went out originally on my own, I thought I just do it me. Like, I'd just be me and I would do all these things. And I was like, that's not what I want. I want to create a culture. Primarily at the time it was for female attorneys because I felt like just like every female attorney, this is nothing new, right? But I felt like I had so many struggles in the traditional law firm because I was a female. It's still there. It's a lot better from what I hear, but you still got the comments of like, well, you female attorneys are a dime a dozen, or, all you female attorneys, like you are supposed to be assistants and we don't have enough assistants anymore. You know what I mean? Those comments are still there. And some sexual harassment, things that I won't get into, but it still was around. And I wanted to create a culture initially for females where they can feel safe and just do our job and do it well and not be at all, judged or thought of, oh, well, you're pretty or not pretty. And we're not like, there's no outside to it. It's like, can you do your job or can you not? And that's why we're here. My team is not fully women now, believe it or not. Most of the attorneys are, but I have an outside counsel, like my patent attorney is a man. And they're all about promoting women, And so it's probably the team I've built. I've built an amazing team where we really can holistically help small businesses from across the gambit. And I don't have to feel like I am the expert or everything's in my zone of genius and on me.
I love that. Which kind of leads to the next question. So what do you think is your like number one non-legal skill that has allowed you to do that?
Okay. Probably, interesting enough. So my first career when I got out of undergrad was a TV journalist. They called it a TV photojournalist because you were still on TV, but you did all of the shooting. You came up with the story, you shot the story, you edited the story, you did the stand-ups, and then you would appear on the news. Yeah. You did everything in that market. And I always thought that would translate to nothing, but I cannot tell you how much that translates into my marketing now for like social media and speaking and doing all these things like this podcast, right? Like, I think I would not have I'm a very introverted person, believe it or not, if you get to know me, even though I love people, I just by nature, I was a very introverted person, but I did those things that made me become more comfortable, with talking to people or talking on screen or just talking in public.
Where did you do your undergrad at?
UMKC in Kansas City. Nothing fantastic. I actually
I went to KU for the same thing. That's why I was wondering.
Oh yeah. It was more of a minor than anything, and I just had interned up at KQ TV in Topeka or St. Joe. Topeka is where I went to law school. And I don't know, I just went on full time for a while.
Nice. Well, yeah, it all comes all the way around. So. All right. So looking ahead, what trends or changes do you see shaping the future of law firms, and how are you positioning your firm to stay competitive?
I feel like my answer to this is going to be the same as everybody who comes on here, but AI, especially large language models, that has been, for me and growing the firm, I have been trying to figure out of like, as you scale, when you automate versus to hire somebody new, right? Mm-hmm. And the automation ability nowadays of large language models, even especially with like Zapier and stuff, I don't know if I'm saying things beyond people on this podcast's listening ability, but it's things that you can connect all your things to do automations. And there's like a massive amount of ability to do automations that have come about just in the last like 3 years because of AI, right? Or at least when I'm saying that, large language models, right? Because AI in itself has been around forever, right? Let's just finish the sentence. Okay, well, that's been around for 50. That's actually artificial intelligence still. But the large language models have just opened up the ability to do so many things. It's actually kind of scary too for some of my brand new associates that I work with. I'm kind of like, you got to make yourself indispensable in some way, because we have such an ability to use things that create a draft or something, even for me on the legal stuff. That's quite sufficient for me to get started on, right? That used to be what an associate did for you. But on the side of like people though, payroll, like there's a massive amount of things that in the technical side of the business, I have just been automating. I actually have brought on a person, and I originally was going to have them be a legal assistant, and they were just so good with tech. Their job right now, I'm like, we're going to start automating. And he's like seriously assisting me and getting as much as we can automated right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I can't wait to see what you do with that. Well, I really appreciate you being on here. I'm excited. I think you also, with doing the business consulting, you kind of have you're outpacing people with adding that second piece. So
Thank
I
you.
like that too. Well, thank you for joining us on the Legal Growth Podcast presented by Legal Growth Partners. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, drop us a review, and share it with your colleagues, because great insights are even better when shared. For more tips and tools to help grow your practice, visit legalgrowthpartners.com. Until next time, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep smiling. Thank you so much, Destiny.
Thank you.